Hello, beautiful soul travelers. Welcome back to the channel. And for this video, we are going to be reviewing 3 herbal books that I've read this past month. This first book is called Wild Edible Plants of New Mexico. I got this from the organic bookstore, and I'm going to drop where that is in the description below. And it's one of my favorite books to just have on hand, whether I'm just walking around the land outside, or if I'm doing any kind of foraging in any kind of forest, or if I'm going for a hike. So it's a pretty thin little booklet and book, and it has a good amount of different herbs and plants that you can find in New Mexico. It's only 61 pages, so it's a pretty short read, which I like, but it has a lot of great information inside as well. One of my favorite things about the book is that if you look at the corner, it shows you the state, and then you can see all the different places where you can find this specific herb within the state itself. So all the different counties, all the different areas. And if we go over to this next herb, you can see that there's a different spots where this herb may not be as abundant. One of my other favorite things about this book is just the pictures. I think when it comes to having a good herbal book or flower book or plant book, anything where you're trying to specifically forage for anything, it's good to have as much detail as possible so that you're not picking anything that might be poisonous for yourself. So the pictures are actual pictures, they're in color, they're very vibrant, and on each page you'll also see what part of the plant is great to harvest. So you'll see that in the purple. So you pick the fruits of this one and the herbaceous parts for this one. And then it also tells you what season it's best to pick and to forage these things. So for the green thread, it's for spring and summer. And then for this gooseberry, it's best specifically only in the summertime to harvest and to forage. And then also on each page, they all kind of start the same. They'll have what the herb is commonly known as. So this is devil's claw at the top. But then you'll also be given what the Latin name is as well underneath it, and the different species that it is connected with. And then other names that it might have more commonly, but then each section will have the range and the habitat. So where does it grow at? How does it grow? Where can you find it? Any edible uses, if there are any edible uses for each plant, which most of them will have some edible uses. And then if there's any medicinal properties or any cautions or any specific instructions or special notes that may be good to have as information when you're going to forage and pick and harvest. So it has everything from different berries, to different flowers, to different fruits, and even kind of vegetables and roots. It's just a good little book to have, again, if you're a beginner when it comes to foraging, or if you just want to know what plants are actually on your land, on your property, in your neighborhood. Grab one of these little books. So when it comes to foraging books, you can find them at your local bookstore. You can find them in the library, whatever library that you have near you. And if you're lucky, sometimes you can find them in big gas stations next to the maps as well. So it's a good little tool to have, again, on hand. It's small enough that you can put in a little bag if you're going to go hiking, and just keep on you, whether it's in your car or in a bag somewhere where you can find those things that you're looking for or that you're foraging for. So this is a great little book to, again, just start off with if you're a beginner when it comes to foraging, or if you're very new to the area of New Mexico. Again, it has at the top all the different spots where you may find the specific herb or plants or vegetation as well. Rating this book, I would say it's about a 8 out of 10. just because, again, it's very compact. It's 61 pages. It's small. You can fit it in your car. It's really compact enough to travel with it if you're camping or if you're hiking or just walking around outside. Get you a little notebook as well and just write little notes for it as well. I have a couple of pages that are folded over just because these are plants that I have just outside as well. So when I want to remember what kind of herbs I have or what their properties are or how I can use them, whether I'm cooking with them or making some kind of tea, I have those pages folded over just so that I can remember where they are in this little book. And for a rating, I would do about a 8 out of 10. It has 58 wild edible plants of the New Mexico land. And I think that's a good amount to, again, start off with if you're just new to the area or if you're new to foraging, not to be overwhelmed. I like, again, that there are actual pictures that are in color so you can get up real close and see what you're getting and what you're looking at. And they always have a second picture of how it looks like out of the ground as well. So you can see the full length of the whole entire herb or plant of what it is. And they also have some pages where they have a little coin next to it. So you can see just for size how big it is when you harvest it and when you forage for it. Each plant is just one single page, so it's not a heavy read, but it does have a lot of good information about the local areas, how you can forage it, how you can use it medicinally or just through cooking, and just a lot of different fun facts. Our next book is Plants of Power, and it is Native American Ceremony and the Use of Sacred Plants. So this is a book that I'm still currently reading, actually. You can see my little bookmark of a pencil. I'm on page 36. And this book just has a few of the ceremonial herbs that you'll find specifically native to New Mexico. So this is another New Mexico-based book. It talks about different ways that you can use them through rituals, through ceremonies, through different rites of passages, and how a few of the different tribes and clans use them specifically in their own traditions as well. So if you are into herbal medicine, that is medicines that are more spiritual based, this is a good book to pick up. I got this one in Taos. Can't remember exactly what bookstore I got it at, but I did get it in Taos. And it just has a good amount of information. And again, another small book. It has 119 pages, so another small read, very short, very compact. And it just, again, it has a lot of new information for people who are maybe not accustomed to the herbs that are used ceremonially and ritually in New Mexico specifically. So you can find herbs like sweetgrass, juniper, pine or pinon, lots of different herbs that are used in this area specifically, and how they're used in ceremonies, in rituals, and different rites of passages as well, and how to cleanse them, how to work with them, how to practice with them, how to honor them, talking about ancestors, a good amount of little information when it comes to the specific tribes and clans that use it in New Mexico. So when it comes to this book, it is pretty much just words. There's a couple of pictures that are drawn just for a little bit of an effect, classical in the way that they're painted and drawn. So just to kind of give you an idea of the herbs, not really going into too much detail of the coloring and all the things that you may need to know if you're foraging. So just kind of giving you nice little pictures to look at as you're reading. This one's about sweetgrass. So you got some nice little pictures of the sweetgrass there. But I like that this one is a little bit more in depth when it comes to the reading aspect. And they're a good size, maybe about 3 to 5 pages each. So you're reading a little bit more. And there's different sections as well. It has a good amount of different herbs for different rites of passage, different clans, different native tribes, and how they specifically each use them for their own ceremonies as well. So this one I would say is probably more of a 7 out of 10. I do like my books to kind of pop a little bit, kind of grab my attention, specifically on the outside, but as well on the inside. So if you're looking for just a good book that has a lot of great information, it's very small again. It doesn't have too many pictures. You're really just reading about the history, about these few herbs that are native to New Mexico when it comes to sacred herbs and ceremonial herbs. So about a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. Just not my personal preference when it comes to the physicality of the book, but the information is still really great. And the very last book that we're going to be reviewing for this video is one that I got on my birthday. Actually, it was gifted to me by one of my yoga friends. We did a little bit of a market celebration for the summer solstice, and she came out, taught a yoga class, and she gifted me this book for my birthday. So it is called The Art of Practice of Spiritual Herbalism. Already you can see the art on this book. It's just popping. It's beautiful. It's very elegant, even maybe feminine if you want to call it that. So very clean of a book with the fonts, with the colors, with the imagery, but it says a lot with just the book itself. So I love this book. I'm already going to give you my rating. It's a 10 out of 10. I just finished reading this book maybe a couple weeks ago, and it has so much information of the sections that it had. So a couple of the sections: the circulatory health, respiratory health, digestive health, liver health, sexual health, skin health, nervous systems, and then immune health. So each section is a good amount of pages. So this one's probably the most lengthiest book that I have of the 3. It has just under 200 pages. So again, a little bit bigger of a book, a little bit more lengthier of the pages, especially the reading of it. But what I like about this book is that it starts off with just a little bit of a preview of the chapter, what we're going to be learning into. The pictures on here, even more vibrant. So we have a combination of real pictures, live pictures, and then we also have some drawings as well. So each section is also going to pair with some of the orishas, or the gods or deities from West African culture as well. So there's one picture there. And then also in each chapter, what I really enjoyed was that there's a picture of not only the system that we're talking about. So this is the first chapter, the circulatory system. But not only is it a beautiful picture of the heart, but it also incorporates each of the herbs that we're going to later learn about in the chapter as well. Very beautiful drawing. Again, the word that comes to my mind is very feminine, very soft, very elegant. But then we get into the plants and the herbs themselves. So each herb that is talked about in each section, there's usually about 3 or 4 in each section, and then they have an additional, maybe another 3 or 4 that are just kind of for honorable mentions. And each herb that is specifically mentioned has 2 pages. We have common names, the Latin name, other common names that they may be used. We have the taxonomy of the page or of the herb. We have the botanical description, its native habitat, how to wildcraft and cultivate it, the parts that are used for the specific plant. Also the planetary influence and correspondence. So if you are on a more spiritual route when it comes to incorporating herbs and spices and plants, you can see which elements and which planets they correspond to as well, so that when you're making blends or doing anything for specific reasons, you know which herbs work with each other and also how they work within themselves. So we have the energetic quality as well, which is hot or pungent, or maybe it's cold. So there's different things like that. We have the pharmacological correspondence, and then we have the ethnobotanical historical uses. We have the action properties, which is going to be how it actually works inside the body. We have the indications and then the contraindications. And then if we want to go even deeper, how do we actually apply this herb to ourselves? So we can use it for this specific herb. It uses it in food and also has external uses. So we have other herbs like this hawthorn berry. Again, each specific herb has 2 pages. And we have decoctions, we have how to use the whole plant, we have tinctures. So most of the pages will have something like this, where it tells you how to do a decoction, whether that's a tea, or if you're steeping it or boiling it, then also how to do a tincture as well. Just in this one chapter, so we have hawthorn, cayenne, and then we have garlic, and then the last page of the herbs are where all the additional herbs are that are also great for the circulatory system. So we have rose here, nettle, and then we have linden. And it comes with the same information, but just a little bit more compact because it's not the main star of this chapter. And then after you read all about the herbs, we have another one, rosemary. Then each chapter has about 3 to 4 recipes for different things that you can use for each herb, or the herbs that we're talking about in this chapter. So we have different syrups, we have oils, we have teas, and just even these pages where it's just the recipes, they really pop. They really give a little bit of a background so that it just comes and ties together all really well. And then there's again a brief description of what we're talking about when it comes to the recipe, and then it really easily breaks down all of the components that you'll be needing for this specific recipe as well. And at the end of each chapter, we have some kind of practice, some kind of meditation, some kind of ritual that really ties in all of what we've learned in that chapter so far. And then we end it with some pictures. How gorgeous. And then it starts all over again with the next chapter. We got a little summary, and then we've got a lot of information to go through. And then it gets into a beautiful picture of what the herbs are, what system we're talking about. And then it goes into the herbs again. And it is a 10 out of 10 for myself. I learned so much just reading this book specifically. I'm not sure where it's from because again, it was gifted to me. But she's from El Paso, so maybe it was in El Paso that she got this book from. But just the artwork, I really love when there's good artwork in a book, and especially when it pairs with really great information as well. So again, this is called spiritual herbalism, so it is leaning more towards the spirituality of herbs, specifically for her own traditions and background. So Karen M. Rose, she has West African, Caribbean roots. So a lot of what she talks about comes from that as well. Just a beautiful, beautiful book. Again, the combination of hand drawing with also real life pictures is very, very aesthetically pleasing to me. It just has so much good information, not only that is scientific and factual, but also incorporating her own experiences or the experiences of her family or the experiences of her students and clients. Really great, well-rounded book. It is a little bit more headier when it comes to just the reading aspect, but at the same time, it's a good book to just kind of pick up if you are new to herbs because the pictures are really nice and it is very simple to follow for the recipes as well. But it's a different book than the other two. So we had more of sacred herbs, we had more foraging herbs, and then this one is specifically how we tie and how we connect to herbs spiritually. And not only spiritually, but how they go through and process in each of our different systems. And why those systems may be out of balance and how these specific herbs help bring that balance. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I really enjoyed making it. I love books and I love food and herbs, so it's a beautiful pairing for me to talk about. And I'm going to drop the links for all of these books on Amazon or wherever I can find them, and also where I bought them from, and then also the years that they all came out too, because sometimes it's nice to know just how old a book is. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked learning about these types of books, I have a lot more books when it comes to food and cooking and herbs and plants. So if you like this video, make sure you like it and give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe as well. And if you like this format of a video, let me know in the comments and I'll create more videos doing reviews on the different books that I have when it comes to cooking and herbs and all that kind of great stuff as well. So I'll see you next time.